To support this podcast, go to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. Once again, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Thank you and enjoy the program. Jay here, positivesarcasm.com, recorded here from the Spare Parts Studio alongside New Hampshire's beautiful sea coast. Like, subscribe, share, donate, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amounts appreciated. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, I'll be very clear. Go directly to my website, positivesarcasm.com. Click on the contact section. It's right there. My site works 100%. Just send me a message through there. Or if you want to hit me up directly, if you feel the old school route, positivesarcasm@outlook.com. Put a subject matter in there. I read everything. I check spam mail. You're not going to miss me. I got 5 email accounts, but I don't miss a single damn email. I can promise you that. So questions, concerns, comments, you can hit me up there. Podcasts available anywhere podcasts, are available. Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Apple Play, Rumble, YouTube on the video portion of it. But audio, to your heart's content, everywhere. But also downloadable and streamable from my website, positivesarcasm.com. And finally, now I'm starting to get my little head into the game here. I just uploaded. Instead of doing like trying to get like one segment out of each, unless it's like a really good segment, and like condensing it down to like a minute or so and then throwing it up on Instagram. I'm gonna try to do like a week in review each week, just a little stupid thing, and then it's basically topics from that came up or weird moments from the podcast that came up, condense it to like a small little video clip and do a week in review, and try to do it like each week, just to get back into the habit, because I get it. We all fall off the wagon sometimes as far as like our projects, my life project, which is this website. And I feel like, Jesus Christ, this Doom music is like cranking right now in my ears, but it's getting me amped up. It's good. And it's time to get on the pattern. It's time to get on the pattern. So I've allocated some energy. I've allocated little 5-hour energies and some forebrain. Right now I'm on the Force Factor forebrain to kind of get this thing back in the routine of what I need to be doing. And I have more tools at my disposal, and I will get to those in a little bit. Actually, should I get to those now? Let me get to those now, actually, before I go. I have something about, I'm going to switch topics in a minute. But, so my new routine is this. Basically, I record the podcast every Tuesday. I try to have it available by Wednesday. And then by weekend, I edit a week in review, which is a little topic, goes on Instagram, goes on Facebook, and of course goes up on YouTube as well as a short, which is pretty cool. So I'm enjoying doing that again. How am I editing it? Well, I'm editing it using a Samsung Galaxy S8. It is a fantastic tablet, the best tab. And I'm generally, back in the day, there was no use for me when it came to tablets. None. Until Cyberlink Power Director Mobile became a thing that exists. It's like it's a $5 freaking app. I love it. I absolutely fucking love this software. It is gorgeous. It is like the Jarvis Tony Stark of like video editing. So I've been using the S8 because the S8 is super responsive, amazing touchscreen, good battery life, just fast as shit, and a nice big screen. So I also have my Asus. I have a small Asus book, which I got for free. It's a small tablet that I do for like budgeting, and I just have with me on the go because it's got a decent battery life. And I use that for other things. But it's like my micro. If I need something on the fly, I at least have that. That also runs an older version of Android, but it's a clean tablet. It's very nice. So I have that. The Samsung Galaxy S8 cost me $300, and that was like the first computer basically that I've purchased since 2015, and I love it. So I've been using that. My last successful project as far as computers that came online officially was this guy right here. This is a Dell that's running Windows 10. It's got a Pentium dual-core processor in it, which is a battery sipper. So I can get 5-6 hours of life out of this thing. It's got 8 gigs of RAM on it. Is it fast? It's running Windows 10. And actually, yeah, it is. This computer was made in 2013. Okay? This thing is 12 years old. One might think that this is a slow computer. Well, I can tell you something. It can't do everything. But what can it do? It can do YouTube at 1080p. It can do Microsoft Office. It can do emails. It can do stock market research. It can run Webull. It can run all these things very quickly. Internet, email, stock market, YouTube, Netflix. That's basically everything a modern day computer can do now. What can it not do? Okay, can it record a podcast? Probably not. Can it do high-level video editing, such as like Adobe Premiere and stuff like that? Nah, definitely not. That's not what it's designed for. But as a computer that I want to take with me, say if I'm going on like a little vacation or something like that, that's a perfect laptop. Perfect laptop. Now, how much did I pay for it? Well, I actually paid nothing. Once again, I paid nothing for it. I paid nothing for a 12-year-old laptop. Now, however, if you were to go buy a budget laptop, it would cost you probably like $150, $200 brand new. What would you get out of it? You get the same amount of performance, if not less, than that laptop that I just showed you right there. A Dell Pentium dual core with a 5-6 hour battery life. It's kind of light. It's got HDMI. It's got 4 USB ports, Ethernet, Wi-Fi. 4 USB ports and a CD-ROM, which is actually quite useful. So, I love it. Cost me nothing. I bought a battery on eBay for $17.50. So, the investment in that laptop, I basically swapped out the old hard drive for a solid state drive, which I had kicking around. I added 4 more gigs of RAM, so now it's running 8 instead of 4. And I installed a fresh copy of Windows 10. Don't ask me anything more than that. And it runs it beautifully. It has a super fast startup time, which is more than respectable. You power on your laptop, you sit down, and the next thing you know, you're logged in. So this is another example of money not wasted. Whereas people go, now, I perfectly understand. You want to get a laptop that can do it all. I am so anti one piece of technology that can do everything. That is not my speed. It is not my speed. I have a laptop that sits here and does one thing. I have a laptop stationed in Portsmouth that does one thing. I have a laptop stationed up in Maine that basically is my weekend laptop. That's there. It sits there. I don't drag that anywhere. I have all these items. The one in Portsmouth cost me nothing. The one other than spare parts. The one in Maine cost me nothing, spare parts. This one sitting next to me cost me nothing, spare parts. There's also a Toshiba netbook that's sitting right next to it that I'm about to attempt to convert to a 32-bit version of Windows 10. It is currently running a 32-bit version of Windows 7 Starter. Windows 7 Starter was only available in 32-bit. It's an old computer. That is probably my oldest, well, not my old, it's my oldest laptop that I have. But what's cool about it, 6-hour battery, sipper, small, light, very portable for a lot of different purposes. Okay? Oddly, is it going to be an entertainment guru? No, but it can record audio very, very well. It can do Office reading, writing, Excel spreadsheets, all that stuff. It's just in a very small, compact thing. You can do a lot with it, though. You can do a lot of things with it. It's just, what would be the purpose of keeping it? Well, it already has all the stuff you need to actually operate at a decent level, and it was free. Once again, free. What's the purpose, though? What am I going to do with it is the key, and that's what I'm about to find out. Can I actually run Windows 10 on this thing? Can I run Windows 10 32-bit? It is entirely possible because there was a 32-bit version of Windows 10. I actually downloaded the ISO the other night. I'm going to see if I can attempt to get it on there. If I can do that, then guess what? The computer, as far as I'm concerned, is now current. I can run a lot of things on it if it's now Windows 10. Even though Windows 10 is not technically supported anymore, it is still a current version. It's still getting downloads and updates and stuff like that, and I could do a lot with it. And 32-bit actually was quite processor friendly. So I'm going to see what I can do here. Now, it's wasteful to be going online and spending $300, $400, $500, or even some cases like $800, $900 on like an Apple MacBook Pro or something like that. It's a waste of money. And once again, people wasting money. I got this laptop, this Dell Pentium 2 for free, and it can do plenty of things. Like I said, it does things at a really good speed. It runs the internet really, really quickly. It checks emails really, really quickly. It runs Webull, which is a very information dense stock trading platform. Runs it very, very efficiently. So you can have, 2-3 big programs open: email, internet, stock software, and it'll run it very well. So for $17, I had the RAM left over to just throw in there, and now it's good to go. So I've been looking for a book bag laptop, and this is basically what I was hoping for. I'm not going to carry a giant ROG around with me, Republic of Gamers. I'm not going to carry that around with me. All my other laptops are stationed for many reasons. Some of them are handicapped because their keyboards don't work, and their battery's dead, so I just have them set up with an external keyboard, and they just sit there in that one spot and do their own thing. I'm not going to go out and spend several $100s, but the Galaxy tablet that I bought was an exception to the rule because I wanted something that could specifically use a certain software. I designated this laptop, this tablet, to do one thing, and that's edit video on Cyberlink Power Director Mobile. That's all I wanted it for. And to me, that's going to do it for a very long time. I'm going to get many, many, many years out of this tablet. So I'm very, very pumped about this opportunity to be able to do that now on a bigger scale. I can see things clearer. I can now edit weekend reviews. I can now edit other projects once I get my hands on them. That's awesome. And I have this book bag laptop that I can take with me wherever I go, set up shop. I got 5 hours worth of battery. That gets me on a plane, gets me on a bus, gets me on vacation, gets me if I go on location to projects where I need like a laptop on the fly, I can do that. There's many great things I could be doing here, but it's once again in a time where inflation is high. Okay, I know it's not currently $5 a gallon where I live, but still, $17 to get a fully functioning laptop is still insane. Still insane. When you think about it, buying a Mustang with under 100,000 miles, $12,000. Try buying an SUV with under 75,000 miles, $10,000 to $12,000 at the minimum. I paid $6,800 for my Mustang. I paid $6,000 for my SUV, and I paid $17 for that laptop. So when it comes to my idea of inflation, it doesn't exist. Inflation hasn't necessarily hit me because I've set myself up for success, because I've paid attention to trends. I've taken all the noise away from. Now, when it came to spending money on gas, I could afford to spend more on gas, whether it's $5 a gallon or $2.50 a gallon. It doesn't matter to me because I can survive through that. Because I understand the trends. I understand I have a pattern. My patterns breed success. My patterns breed opportunity. I have an ever-widening wardrobe consisting of at least 5 sport coats. I just have sport jackets, all different colors and types and threads. I didn't spend a ton of money. I didn't go to fucking, Joe's Warehouse where shit's like $200. No, I didn't have to. I was smart. I understood. It's just every once in a while, I pick my way through to have a nice wardrobe, nice dress pants, nice sweaters, nice sports coats, nice jacket. I got a fucking jacket, a winter coat that makes me look like Bane. And the thing is sexy. I absolutely love it. There have some things that have gone up in price, obviously. Like, I know there was apparently all the chickens died 2 weeks ago, so I had to fucking all right, where am I gonna get my eggs? I'm like, fuck it, all right. Chase doesn't eat raw eggs for a few days. Whoop-de-doo. I'll feed him steak, or I'll feed him chicken, or something like that, or turkey. He eats just fine. Nothing's compromised his diet whatsoever. It's fine. Whatever. It's just eggs. We'll get more. I completely understand things are going to go up in price. Things are going to go down in price. It's like, all right, when the opportunity exists to buy shitloads of chicken or shitloads of turkey or shitloads of ground beef or something like that, I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to load up my freezer. I'm not going to get lost in the world of Costco or BJ's Wholesale Club. I'm not going to get lost in the world where I need the latest technology or the latest cell phone. People are spending $1,200 on a cell phone. No, it's just a monthly. Fuck that. Give me a fucking break. I could pay $125 for this cell phone. 120 something bucks for this cell phone that runs amazingly. I absolutely love this fucking thing. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And then guess what? I purposely didn't put email on it because I don't want emails. I don't want to be bothered. I don't. If I need to read emails, I'll be. There's plenty of Wi-Fi areas for me to check that shit. Other than that, if it's that important, you can call me, you can text me, and then I'll possibly get back to you. Possibly. If you're that important to me, then I'll get back to you. And I can always check my emails at the end of the day. Well, I almost lost my train of thought. Sorry. I cannot wait. I'll be honest with you. Quick side note. I cannot wait to get out of this town. I mean it. The clock is ticking. And I am not settling for anything less than the smell of the ocean. Okay? I'm not going to a border town on the other side of the highway. I am going back to the reason. I'm going back to the place for the reason that I moved down here to begin with. I'm not sitting on one of these sister towns. I'm not moving to one of these little towns. It's like, oh, this is where the rent is cheap. No, I'm going back to the fucking ocean. I'm going back. That is 100% non-negotiable for me. I'm getting back there. Okay? Nobody has taken my. There's been years where I've built up money and I've lost it all because of some stupid woman with some stupid fucking agenda of their own or something else to that nature. And you know what? I'm not falling for it this time. This time I'm going all out. Now, fucking. I mean, the ring on my finger may argue otherwise, but I'm not failing this time. I'm not falling for that. I own the dog and I own my future and I have zero debt. 100% zero debt. I owe nobody nothing. Do you understand? Nobody nothing. There are no liabilities with me. There's nothing. There is nothing. Okay? And that's it. I'm getting what I'm sought out for. All right? I'm in that position where I'm now officially in charge. And I will. Anybody who gets in my way or tries to take away my checking account as far as what goes in it, I'm going to run you right over. I'm going to run you right over. I am so determined with all the opportunities that I've allowed myself to process over the couple of years. I've worked so hard on myself to get back to the ocean and all this spare equipment that I have, all the things that this place doesn't even look like a studio anymore. This place, when I look around, it looks like a fucking storage locker because I'm basically prepped for the ocean. And every time I hear a little knock outside of my door or a car going by or other bullshit like that, just reminds me, oh, that's right. It takes me off topic, and I don't like being off topic, but I'm telling you, it just puts me into a different rant for a brief moment of time where I lose my train of thought, and it's like, oh, that's right. I'm getting out of here soon. I'm getting out of this goddamn place, and I'm going where I belong. And when I go there, and this time, I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. All right? Jordan Peterson said, do not stand still. You have to keep moving forward. And I have been working aggressively to keep moving forward to make sure that I am in a situation where you can't take anything from me. Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. And also, I do act like I am in my 40s because it's like I feel like sometimes I'm running out of time. But it's not. Like, time is on my side. Time is on my side. My health is on my side. My fitness is on my side. My mentality is on my side. There's nothing that can stop me. Nothing, really. Nothing can stop me. I understand that there are inflationary worries at times. But like I said, I just explained that. I have the opportunity where I am like, okay, if this is not the week for me to do this thing, then cool. I can always go back next week or I can check back the next day. I have centered myself with the ability to go, if this place is not in my favor, I can go right across the street or right down the street or to the next town and handle my business there. And then I'll come back when you guys have your shit together. Okay? My freezer will always have food in it. My fridge will always have food in it. My bank account will always have money in it. My stocks will always... my stocks are... For the first time in a couple of years, I've been able to invest for long enough where I have 2 different stock market accounts, and they're both up. They're both up. The fucking... the little... Chinese AI thingy didn't scare me. I didn't run off. I didn't get emotional about it. I sat there and I was like, whatever. It's a buying opportunity. So I bought more. And I'm still up. Everything, the vast majority of my stuff rebounded. Okay? And ended up in grand total scheme of things, I ended up from that whole AI scare, $40 difference. $40. That's it. $40. Went from being down 18%, and now it's a $40 difference from when China went, oh, deep crush or deep throat or whatever the fuck that name of that AI software is or whatever it is. That's it. No big deal. Just another way to scare people out of selling their stocks and running for the hills and be like, China's going to take over. And the next thing you know, the institutions, grab more stock that you sold on the cheap, and now you're made to look stupid. Again. Happens every single time. Happens every single time. You know what's fucking... All right, how many laptops do I have now? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have 3 stationed laptops. 3 laptops that don't move. They don't go anywhere. One sits up in Maine, one sits in Portsmouth, one sits here. Sitting on this desk right now, I have 3 laptops. One's a tablet, but technically it's got a keyboard on it, so that's a laptop or basically a computer. So that's those 3 laptops. So I got 3 sitting here right now. So and then I got the Samsung tablet, which is another basically laptop at this point. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So is that 7 laptops? 7 laptops, and then I got another one which is designated for other things. So 7, that's 8 laptops. So I have 8 laptops. 8 fully functioning laptops, all with various assignments. And they all work to the best of their abilities. The last one on the list is this Toshiba network. I would love to get... Actually, you know what? I got one more that I took the hard drive out of so I could put it in this other computer. That is a Celeron that was working perfectly well, and I would love to get that thing designated for assignment doing something. That is technically the slowest laptop. Actually, no, it's the second slowest laptop. But that thing was running actually really well. I just need to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do with that. But all it needs is a hard drive. That's all it needs is an SSD drive. That's $20. $20 and that thing's back online. I could throw Windows 10 on it, and then I'm good to go. It was running Windows 7, but I'm going to put Windows 10 in it, and it'll be good to go. So that puts me up to 9 laptops. 9 laptops, and we're talking $300. $300. That's it. 9 laptops, $300. What about desktops? I got 2 servers, 2 fully functioning servers. Nothing. Cost me nothing. And then I have 2 high-level desktop computers, legacy desktop computers. One's an i5 series, one's an i7 series. I haven't actually put them to use yet. I'd love to. Haven't figured out what I'm going to do with those. So I have those. So that's 4 computers, and then I have a couple of backup machines. So I mean, that's insane. That's insane. Now, obviously, I did put a couple computers out to pasture that I found that served no purpose. I had a laptop with a dead screen that went by the wayside. I never invested any time in it. I didn't invest any time. Well, I invested a little bit of time to see if I could get it working. Got rid of it. Then there was a laptop that it was an Asus like VivoBook or something like that. Nice laptop, slimline. Would have loved to have gotten that to be like my actual book bag laptop, but didn't pan out. Had some real serious hardware issues. Got rid of that. Didn't waste any more time. I ended up the most I spent on it was basically I bought a charger cable for it. And that was it. That was all the money I spent on it. And then I moved on, ripped all the good shit out of it, the hard drive, the RAM, threw that in storage, and then chucked the laptop in the trash. There was another laptop that was a gaming laptop that I, for some reason, couldn't get to turn on. Sold that shit for $100. All right? So I'm not just storing stuff to store stuff. I had this stuff. It's for a specific purpose. Essentially, once I get a spot for these things, they'll have their specific spot where they will do certain things, whether it's monitoring security cameras or for budgeting purposes on the fly or taking notes when I'm in a meeting or being in my being a book bag laptop. So it basically goes with me when I'm on a plane. Or it's going to be when I go on location to set up a studio. Or it's going to be my official studio laptop, which is the one that I'm recording on right now. This one just sits here and does audio and video. That's all it does. Doesn't do anything else. It'll never do anything else. I will drive this thing into the ground. One day it's not going to turn on, and I'm just going to throw it in the trash. Well, after I take the parts out of it that I need. But ultimately, that's all it's going to do. So I have all these computers, and I'm not spending any money. Which gives me the opportunity to buy a car, which I did, which I will be able to, out of that $6,000, I will basically own that car for probably about $3,000. Because in about 25,000 miles, which is going to be about 3, maybe 4 years from now, I'm going to sell that car with between 85 and 90,000 miles on it because I don't drive very far. And I'm going to turn around and I can easily sell that car for between $3,000 and $5,000. Because somebody will get an 85, 90,000 mile SUV for $3-4 grand, and they can drive that fucking thing into the ground. And it'll probably go, depending upon how you take care of it, up to 150,000 miles. 120 to 150,000 miles. The transmission blows up, whatever, just get rid of it. You got a car for at least 25, 30,000 miles. You paid a few grand for it. You can't get mad at me. I mean, my Lincoln, I sold it for what I bought it for. And my SUV, which is a third-row SUV with the 4-liter Ford engine in it, which is a tough cookie engine. You can't break that thing. But I'm only going to spend a few grand on this thing, and I'll have $3,000 left over for another car. So I don't feel like I'm losing in any way, shape, or form. But I'm being as methodical as I can. Now, don't get me wrong. I always feel like I'm skating a little bit on thin ice with the things that I do. All right? I always do. But believe me, I am thinking methodically, but I do react almost impulsively when I see the opportunity. I did it when I saw the winter rental that is now up for sale. You can actually buy my original winter rental on Zillow for $375,000. It's a nice little house. It is. It's a 700-something square foot house, 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, nice place. So, and it is in Hampton Beach. There's only one problem. The spot that it's located in Hampton Beach is on Ashworth Avenue, which notoriously floods. And when it floods, if your car is sitting on the left side of the driveway, it's going to fucking float. It's going to float. But that being said, it was a winter rental. I loved it. And now Jim is selling it for like $375,000. I could buy it right now. I literally could buy that fucking house right now, but I just hate where it is. Absolutely hate where it is. It would be perfect if you were going to buy it, then use it to like rent to people. Then it'd be a good source of income. But that is not my speed. I'm focused on other things. Also, so as you can see, I'm amped up about my prospects. I'm very excited. Very excited to be doing this podcast now that I have the actual energy, because it was originally I would get on this podcast like for the last 6 months. Legit. Exhausted. I didn't know what I was finding time for. I got a new gym. We're going to be going into spring soon. It's almost the end of January. Imagine that. It's almost the end of January. And I now have like every Tuesday, I pump a 5-hour energy with me with some brain pills. I sit here. I give it more than 25, 30 minutes. I'm not exhausted right now. I feel pretty good. Like, that's the thing, is I feel better. That's the most important thing. It has been a year since I restarted and tried to like figure out how I was going to do this again. And it was a really tough year as far as like the website suffered. The podcast suffered. The project definitely suffered. But there were some, as usual, there was some bright spots through all of it. There was definitely some bright spots through all of it. And thankfully, I'm now sitting in this position where I learned a thing or two, and I'm in a position where I can now sit here and give you better, more aggressive, more old school type of content without yawning or anything like that. And that's something that drives me. And also telling you, whenever I get a little win like this little stupid it's just a laptop, Jay. Who gives a fuck? It's like, well, you know what? That's the thing, is I could have spent $150, $200, $300, $400, but I didn't have to. I didn't have to do that. Okay? I didn't have to spend I guess you would say a month's worth of groceries on a laptop where it was just given to me, and now I have the opportunity where this is an opportunity to do something. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but it's an opportunity for me to do something and have the convenience of a laptop nearby where I didn't really before. I had a little tablet or this. It's another thing in my arsenal. It's another thing in my ever-growing arsenal of spare parts. This is the Spare Parts Studio in its latest form. And the objective of the Spare Parts Studio is to acquire spare parts that allow me to expand this platform and this podcast to different realms in different ways with new ideas. That's the whole point of this. It's not like I'm going to get a fancy fucking studio with an assistant or a podcast producer and spend all that money and try to market and make myself more, I don't know, YouTube friendly or some bullshit. That is not my speed. That is not my speed. That's not how I work. That is not how I do things. All right? I can do this. Mr. Beast is a perfect example. He did this shit with like a fucking crappy old iPhone, and look at him now. The guy's worth like a jillion dollars. Now, I'm doing fine. Am I worth what Mr. Beast is worth? No. But I do have a retirement age in mind that I am actually kind of optimistic about, and I'm doing this in front of two desks that I didn't pay for, a monitor I didn't pay for, which is actually a nice monitor to be honest with you, with a bunch of computers that I didn't even pay for, with spare parts laying around me that I don't even remember where the fuck half this shit is. And you know what? Oh, this thing's supposed to be on. Why isn't this on? Oh, it's supposed to be on. Oh, silly me. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. There you go. A little bit of presentation. Don't worry, I'll get more lights going forward. This is going to be a much nicer thing eventually. But I have all of this stuff because I'm literally paying attention to the rhythm that I use to get ahead with the parts that I currently have. The microphone that I'm talking to. This is a Razer Mini. This is a nice little microphone. This was a present. I originally did this with an old school analog mic, and now I got this thing. Thanks, Timmy. Timmy was my content associate, a content assistant for about a year or so. And he sent me this. He sent me this microphone. I fucking love this microphone. It's a great little microphone. This right here allows me to take the analog microphones with me when I'm ever on assignment doing podcast stuff elsewhere. I don't have to pack this little fucker up. I can take the analog mics, which analog mics, they work perfectly wherever you go. That's the great thing about analog. The shit just works. Okay, so spare parts are definitely a passion of this. They're a little passion point of every time I get one. It's like, ooh, that's sweet. I wonder, how sharp am I? Can I make this thing can I make this thing current? Can I run current stuff on a 10-year-old machine, a 12-year-old machine, where most people throw this shit away? And no, I'm not gonna lie. When I got this machine, it was slow as fuck. It was so bloated. So bloated. It was like a muscle car dragging a stadium behind it. It couldn't get out of its own way. And now it's clean. It runs very fast. I definitely, there's nothing. There's no flaws on this machine. None. There's no flaws. It is faster. It is 4 times faster than it was the day it was debuted. It's a budget laptop. And it doesn't run like a budget laptop. It runs like your everyday business laptop. Where my everyday stuff that's run by some IT service is dog shit. And it's slow as fuck. And requires 3-4 times the amount of RAM. And like 10-20 times the amount of processing power. This doesn't. It runs beautifully. I can do almost anything that I need to on an everyday basis for a laptop. And that's the key thing here is you don't have to waste your money. You don't have to shop at these high-end places and do all this high-end shit. There's plenty that you can do. You don't have to have the latest and greatest stuff. People buying iPhones and Galaxies, it's like, dude, the glamour phase is over for all this shit. The glamour phase is over. You don't have to have the latest and greatest stuff. The latest and greatest stuff is what you have available to you now that you can get on the cheap. Okay? That's glamour. That's called smart thinking. You don't have to have the latest AirPods or the latest laptop or the latest cell phone or the latest Audi the fuck out of here with cars. There's no investment in cars other than getting something on the cheap that you can sell down the road depending upon how much you travel, and then getting your monies back on it to the point where you can now roll that over into something a little bit better each time. I went from a $1,200 Lincoln to a $8,000 SUV that I didn't pay a lot for, but I know I can get a decent amount of money back from in just a few years and get something else. Because I wanted to get a Lincoln Town Car, but unfortunately I decided to wait on the spending, and I lost out on a beautiful Lincoln Town Car Executive with the soft top roof. But I'll get it, or I'll get another one of these SUVs because I actually happen to like this type of SUV. So maybe I'll get another one that's a few years newer that I can have for a long period of time. But I don't love my cars except for my Mustang. That is my longtime lifer. That is my go-to. That is the one I will die in. Hopefully not upside down, but that's my go-to. So to put a pin in that, to put a period at the end of this little rant here about spare parts. This is the Spare Parts Studio. I love spare parts. I love having extra items around where I can grab it on the fly because this goes in this bag and this is stationed there. So wherever I go, there's resources available to me at a moment's notice with all the latest shit. That's the cool thing. I can set up shop at a moment's notice. It's like I have bases all over the world. It's like the U.S. military. We're just flying to Taiwan. There's guys with guns and tanks and fucking missiles and airplanes right there. I go to this spot. There's a laptop, tea, coffee, and food waiting for me. I go to, and that's how I work. I'm stationed there. I have a bug out bag. I literally can walk out the door. I'm armed. I'm technology fucking heavy. I've got money. I'm good. I can go wherever and I'll be okay. So that's my goal, is to basically have bases wherever I go. Unfortunately, my Fortress of Solitude is not available at this time. This is my little corner of the world right now. But I've been here long enough. I've definitely taken my beatings as far as sitting in this goddamn fucking forsaken town long enough where I want to get the fuck out of here. I've earned my stripes, and I'm going back home to the seacoast where I belong. But there's a difference between being determined. This segues into what might be the final part of this podcast. We'll see. There's a difference between being determined to get what you want and then being so focused on getting what you want, you're going to run people over and ruin other people. Either as what would you call it? You're so focused on doing things, you're going to step on other people and ruin other people to do it. Or you have self-destructive behavior and you are just so focused on destroying other people because, and you know what? At the point to where you're not even looking for happiness or satisfaction in oneself. You're just looking to destroy other people. This self-destructive behavior. I know people like that. Currently, I know people like that. This is a thing people are so focused on shitting on other people or destroying other people's reputations or destroy. Now, I've written about stuff like this, but the people that need it, but these are people that were such terrible human beings and continue to be terrible human beings that they need to be checked because you have to prevent those terrible human beings from hurting other people. So they need to be known about. Now, my goal is to not out anybody who's fucked up in their life and is now trying to put their life together or trying to do good things or turn things around or just quite frankly needs a little emotional help. Those people I'm not going to out. Those people I'm going to help. But there's people out there that are just, quite frankly, poison. I don't consider myself poison. I consider myself to be a loudmouth asshole who is very useful to society. That's what I consider myself to be. A loudmouth asshole who's actually very useful to society, whether you like it or not. I'm not a necessary evil. I just happen to be necessary. I'm not Andrew Tate. Okay? Not even close. I'm not as useful as Andrew Tate, to be perfectly honest with you. All right? But I am useful to a lot of people. And ultimately, I want to do good things. And ultimately, I want to help, whether it's through my creative process or through other matters. Okay? Am I an influence? I guess I could be, but I don't seek to be. Ultimately, I do try to help. I do try to give you tips and tricks and knowledge and advice as far as for entertainment purposes only, of course. For those who are thinking about this or maybe wanting to look into that or want to start doing things, I've done all these things. I've done a lot of things, and I've done a lot of things the wrong way, and I'm trying to be like, listen, I've done things this way, and I don't recommend going that route. I could save you time, money, heartache, and it's like, I'm not going to go and destroy somebody just for the sake of getting the satisfaction of destroying somebody. I have a goal in life. I have people that I support emotionally and financially. I want those people to be happy and fulfilled and have the opportunity to do things that I've done. It's been over 11 years since I've started dabbling with this, with positive sarcasm. Like, since I start writing the little fucking food reviews and it became this thing. And I want people to see that not only can they do what I've done with this, but take it even further and make it huge. That's the thing. I want people to see this and go, I can do better. And go, great. Do better. Do different. Doesn't matter to me. Do something. But if you are out there just to destroy and watch the world burn, and there are people like that who just, they're self-destructive behavior because they have nothing going on in their lives. And their goal is, and that, you know what happens with that? You know what happens with that self-destructive behavior? Those destructive patterns that people have? Ultimately, that shit backfires on you to the point where, because their life is a disaster as is. But then when they go and they try to destroy other people's livelihoods, careers, businesses, relationships. Listen, fucking newsflash. That shit comes back to you, and it ends up being your world that burns. Because even if you successfully tear down those other people that you had this just vicious vendetta against, that comes back to you eventually. Because basically all you've done is left a trail of, because whether you've known it, you've done malicious things, and it's now on paper that you've done malicious things, that you've been a terrible person, and that you continue to be a terrible person. Okay? And that you don't ask for help, you're just looking to drive that nail in the coffin. That comes back. It always does. And it's your world that burns because you're the one lighting the gasoline. You're the one who is, when you're trying to make the entire world burn, guess what? When you create a circle of fire around yourself, it creates, or a circle of fire then eventually tries to take the rest of the oxygen that's inside of that area that hasn't burned yet, and it's called a firestorm. And basically it soaks up that middle area so quickly that everything is basically destroyed in that path. There's nothing left. Look up the definition of a firestorm. Basically just sucks oxygen out of that one isolated area and nothing gets left behind. Everything gets torched in its path. And if you are a person who is emotionally like that, you get consumed as well, where it ends up destroying you. You have to, now, there are reasons for bringing this up, but ultimately, I am not a person who's out to, my focus is not to destroy other people unless they are pure evil. I know what pure evil is. But my goal is to make a great life for myself and live an awesome life and be motivated and make money and stay healthy and show people that muscle cars are cool, podcasting's cool, creating your own thing is cool, traveling is cool, eating well is cool, eating healthy is cool. Just being cool is fucking cool. And cheap, nifty gadgets like cell phones and cheap laptops and fucking, stuff like that. It's cool. It's nifty. It's helpful. And it's cheap and it's free. And you don't have to have the newest, latest, and greatest shiny shit. You don't have to sell your soul for this stuff. It doesn't have to be that way. Investing in the stock market is cool. And making a path for yourself financially, investing in the stock market is free. You put money in it and you leave it there. Okay? And there's millions of people out there like Joseph Hogue and fucking Kevin Paffrath, who honestly, he's gotten a little too the building's on fire. He needs to chill out and focus on making fucking content about, I'm investing in this. You should consider that too. But Joseph Hogue is great. Ken Pathrath is a smart guy, though. He's a very smart guy. Great with real estate. Brian Kim, real estate. He's a clear value tax. That's him. You just put, and even if you don't want to, there's a you could just put cash. I'm going to put cash in this thing, and it's going to give me 3 or 4% back. Annualized return. Just put your money here, but investing in like the actual application, whether it's eToro or fucking Webull or Moomoo or Coinbase, you just put money in there. Those are all free platforms, all free to use. You just download them, and you just, here's my money, and then your money sits in there, and it just makes more money. It's not like a bullshit savings account that you have through your credit union or through your bank. You just put the money in there, and then it goes boom, and it just grows like a fucking flower. And that's it. And you just, whatever you do, don't touch it. And then eventually you get to a point where it's like, all right, now I can touch it. But you touch a percentage of it. That's your fortress of fucking solitude, in the words of John Goodman. But I'm trying to I recommend people that know. I will recommend to you anybody who knows more than I do on a particular subject, so that you can get better insight in how you want to do things. There's plenty of people who could tell you how to get big muscles. All right, whether it be fucking Mike Israetel or Joe Rogan or Athlean X, doesn't matter. They can all tell you a different way of how to get fucking jacked. All right. There's plenty of people like Dr. Rhonda Patrick and Brian and Andrew Huberman who will tell you how to get a healthier brain or a healthier body as far as eating. Peter Attia, those people. Here's what you should eat. These are the supplements you should take. I will recommend those people to you. Okay? Mental health people, like fucking, or you're looking for a motivational coach, I'll be like a Jordan Peterson type. There's plenty of people out there that will give you a different insight, not just into your psyche and the universe that is your own fucking head. But I'm always driving for a goal that is ultimately positive. The people that are poison, though, those are people just looking to destroy not only everything around them, but themselves as well. And that is destructive behavior. I am totally fine with you if life has kind of run you over. But ultimately, you have to look at yourself and go, am I the cause of this? Am I the reason I'm sitting here in this position with no friends, no loved ones, no family that gets along with me, or a job that disowns me, or a passion that has abandoned me? Why do I go home every night to basically an empty house? What did I do? And you could turn it around at a moment's notice. You really could. It takes time to perfect it, but at a moment's notice, you could be like, you know what? I'm not going to do things this way anymore because I'm the reason I'm here. I'm the reason I'm sitting here lonely. I'm not a lonely person. Look at my fucking finger. Does this look like a person who's fucking lonely? I'm not lonely. I got the world's most expensive rescue dog basically laying about 5 feet away from me. He's the sweetest boy in the world. He goes with me everywhere. There's nowhere I go, with the exception of into the gym, where he doesn't accompany me. He is everywhere. He's every day. He's in my life. 24/7. In the bed, in the seat, in the car, in the office, on the road trips, everywhere. He's with me. I've earned that right. I've earned the trust of people around me to know that when he's with me, things are going to be okay. And he knows that too. That's the awesome thing. I know when my voice gets elevated like it is now, he curls up into a little cinnamon roll, and you can go on his Instagram, @ChaseMichael. You can look him up, click request to follow. I'll let you follow him. But he has the privilege of every day going to all these places where he can run around and be free and hang out with different people. He gets that opportunity. He's met firemen, police officers, police chiefs, heads of hospitals, aunts, uncles. He's met all kinds of other dogs, different beaches, different oceans. He's traveled to the most northern points of Maine. He goes with me everywhere. He's awesome. He gets that life, but I built that life for him so he could have a great life. So I'm never alone. And I did that. I did all of this, with only a span of a few years, and it's only gotten better. It's only getting better because I chose to be a driving force for good. And then ultimately it's like, okay, how aggressive can I be without being a tyrant, without being poison, without being a dictator? Because I am definitely an intense person. I'm definitely a madman. I'm definitely an episode of Mad Men mixed with a pirate, mixed with the cheapest Jew you ever met. But these are all things for the ultimate good, a driving force for good things. I try to do good things. I'm trying to be, listen, you have the option of doing things in a not so expensive or emotionally draining avenue. You don't have to be lonely. You don't have to be malnourished. You don't have to be on 6 or 7 pills a day. You don't have to live in a tiny little studio apartment out in some town in the middle of fucking nowhere. You don't have to do it with a shitty car that you don't know if it's going to start the next day. You don't have to do these things. I have my own place. I have my best friend, okay? I have a beautiful person I get to talk to every single day. I have great people around me. I'm a dependable human being. That didn't happen overnight, but God damn it, I was determined to make it happen, period. But if you're a destructive person with destructive behaviors, whether they could be in your family, they could be in your workplace, they could be one of your friends, you get away from them. You disconnect. Be like, listen, you're a destructive person. I'm not going to be around you. You fix your shit, or basically we're disconnecting. Get the fuck out of my life. And they have to be told that. It's like, listen, because the best way to get somebody's attention is to stop talking to them, to disconnect from them. Now, here's the sad part. This is the sad part. A lot of them don't change their ways. And that's the rough thing, is a lot of them don't change their ways. So ultimately, you just have to basically and cut ties. Be like, hey, they're never going to change. I tried to let them know that this was going to go down. They didn't listen. They had to go. All right. Patrick Bet-David calls it firing your friends. You got to fire family too sometimes. You got to fire coworkers, friends, family. You just have to. Not my dog. I'm not firing my dog. I'd never do that. But you got to fire people in your life that you don't necessarily write a check for. All right. This is a thing that this is an actual, a sad part of life is you get some really shitty people, and some of them are blood or closer than they maybe should have been to begin with. And you trusted them with all kinds of private and personal information. And it's just like, no, they're just destructive. They're poison. They're vindictive. They're vicious. They're bad. They're just, you know what? You just look at them and go, you know what? You're a bad person. You're a bad person, and you only do things for yourself, and when it doesn't go your way, you just drag other people down. You just drag other people down, and when they call you out on it, you go out and you try to destroy them. And that's just a bad thing to do. It's ultimately very, very bad. Now, I'm definitely an aggressive person with an aggressive behavior, but as I will repeat 1,000 times, I'm just trying to basically look out for the people in my life that are trying to do good and show them that there is a way to be more organized, have more money in your pocket, be healthier, and just be more prepared for the shit that's going to come down in life. Because guess what? Inflation, not going away. Terrorism, not going away. Fucking poison in your neighborhood, shitty towns, fluoride in the drinking water, not going away anytime soon. These things that just the obstacles of daily life, people are not prepared for anymore, or they're just so sensitive to that they crack at the moment of the first moment of inconvenience. But the self-destructive people, those are the people you got to watch out for. That they're going to take whatever information, they're going to try to bury you professionally or personally or both, and you got to remember that those people are out there. You could be a happy person, you could be a famous person, you could be a private person. You could have a great marriage, nice house, nice car, nice thing going for you. There's somebody out there who fucking despises you. Whether they're friends, families, or coworkers. They fucking hate you. You may not know why. You may try to find out why. But ultimately, if they're coming for you. They're trying to figure out a way to talk shit about you or make you look bad. That's just how life is. There's always some scummy people out there that are just trying to make you look like shit. And they get nothing out of it other than the satisfaction of taking somebody down. And those people have to be, if they can't be, if you can't run them out of your life, you basically just have to disconnect from them and give them no way of getting to you. You just have to understand that. And look, you shouldn't be looking for danger. We are mentally equipped to look for it. You just have to understand that there are people out there, whether you realize it or not, that are looking to cause inconvenience just because that's all they have going for them. That's it. Cause inconvenience. And their short-term goals probably are maybe have some value to them, but it's all for selfish purposes. The malicious intent of people out there, especially right now, is unavoidable. So you have to understand that everything you put online, I obviously, by putting myself out there on this podcast, that can make me obviously vulnerable to attack. But I can take care of myself. And quite frankly, I know when I'm able to stay in the pocket and know when you're just trying to come for me personally. You're just trying to come for me professionally. I understand this game. I won't be shook. I don't apologize. And just remember, if you are coming for me, you stay in your fucking lane. First of all, you stay in your fucking lane, and I won't come for you. I won't bother you. But trying to take what I got, trying to take the money out of my pocket, the food off my table, and the life that I'm trying to lead, and the goals and the futures that I'm trying to provide for myself, that's different. You want to go be self-destructive and an ultimate piece of shit person? You do you, boo. But anything that has to do with my livelihood and the goals that I have set aside for myself, I'll tell you this. And this is advice for all of you and not for entertainment purposes only. Anybody who is trying to build a life for themselves and the people around them, I applaud you. But if anybody is trying to destroy your way of life, that is when you have the green light to take them out. That is when you have anybody who's trying to take your marriage away from you, your friendship, your friends away from you, your family away from you, your job away from you, your creative outlet away from you, your health and wellness away from you. That's a person you have to, that's when you do defend your turf at all costs. These are things that you have to understand. There's something that's the thing you have to understand. That it's not always gonna be hunky dory. Somebody's got a sight on you at all times. It's just the facts of life. That there's always some shitbag at your workplace or some shitbag in your family. They just don't have anything else but other to cause drama or cause chaos because they're just self-destructive or they have nothing going for them. And you know what? It's perfectly acceptable to tell those people to shut down and shut the fuck up. All right. This is a broad, and what I'm trying to teach you right now is a broad concept of being aware of your surroundings and always having multiple escape routes when somebody's trying to take you down. There's always somebody who wants your girl, wants your job, wants your car, wants your way of life, or wants to destroy them. That's the thing. And by you staying in the pocket and knowing when to pick your battles and knowing when to open fire is part of the keys to success. Because there's nothing worse than you just trying to live your life and have your existence and get your dream, your American dream, but there's somebody out there actually looking to take you down just because you're affiliated with this, that, and the other thing. Those people do need to be taught a lesson. Now, you can't teach them all the lessons, but you can teach them one important lesson. Not to fuck with you. You can find me on Instagram at @positive_sarcasm. Find me on YouTube also, Positive Sarcasm Podcast, and of course my other stuff that I've put out there on the interwebs. But if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, go to my website, positivesarcasm.com. Email me there, comment there. You can you can email me directly, positivesarcasm@outlook.com. Like, subscribe, share, donate, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amounts appreciated. God, it feels so good to have fucking energy and to just completely fucking go batshit crazy for an hour and not even remember what the fuck I was talking about, but sometimes how just happened to run my mouth, which makes no fucking sense. It's great. I love it. I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to keep going with it. Hell, Theo Von made a fucking career out of it. I'm not Theo Von, not comparing myself to Theo Von. He's definitely lived a few lives. Good for him. Congratulations on all your success. But hey, there's plenty of people out there that just run their mouths making no fucking sense, and it seems to have worked out okay for them. But hey, you know what? I've managed to through all this chaos and this processing of the thoughts that are in my head on a daily basis, I've somehow managed to make it work. Keep as many wrinkles as possible out of my face, and make a few bucks in the process. So I'm pleased with the progress I've made, because I did not go out of my way to destroy myself. I did burn some, as the good JP says, burn off the bad parts of me like dead wood, so that the tree can continue and the tree and the roots can continue to grow strong. That's what I feel. But this is a great world, an ever improving world that I've created for myself, and I love what is to come, and I am determined to make sure that it gets here in a timely manner. I am ready to support my future, because God damn it looks bright. I really do believe that. Just hope I don't have like a stroke floating around in my bloodstream or something like that. That's the biggest thing I'm concerned about, is like there's just like a little blood clot just waiting to fucking take me out. But if that little Lee Harvey Oswald is not floating around in my bloodstream, I say let's keep the party train going. So audio podcast is available everywhere. Video podcast, YouTube and Rumble. So thank you for listening, watching, subscribing. I'll get you guys next week. Recorded here from a spare parts studio alongside New Hampshire's beautiful seacoast for entertainment purposes only. This has been a Positive Sarcasm presentation.